Morning. Bon matin. Good morning. All right. Hey, DCAT. Morning. All right. We'll just wait here a minute or so, have everyone join, and we'll get started. In the meantime, I do have the risk disclosure up. You can review that in the meantime. Hey, Roshan. Buenos días, Antonio. Good morning. Good morning, Sharf. ¿De dónde eres, Antonio? Good morning, Reading Tiger. Nicaragua. Muy bien. Bienvenido. Little combination of English and Spanish today, guys. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. All right. All right, guys. So I do have the risk disclosure up. I just kind of remind everyone that the content that is being distributed by the market trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Testimonials appearing on the web may not be representative of other clients or customers and is not a guarantee of future performance or success. Use of this information is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of this information. Future trading does contain a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital, and only risk capital, money that can otherwise be can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used. Okay, nothing contained again herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell, recommend futures, options, or forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten the risk disclosure out of the way here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop share this and begin to share what I expect is a fair amount of news that's going on in the markets. Okay, so let's see if I can get out of this here. All right. Okay, so we've already had a number of numbers being reported. Okay, news being reported here in. Okay, we have had PPI reports coming out year over year, month over month. Okay, core. So already a number of numbers that probably are affecting the markets as we speak. Okay. We have Fed members speaking. Goolsby speaking here at 9:45. We have some preliminary inflationary numbers coming in at 10 a.m. Okay, Eastern time, and then we have at um, 10:45 another Fed member speaking, and then obviously at 10 a.m. again we have the option expiration. Okay, so a fair amount of news coming into the markets today, which could create some volatility. Okay, in the markets. Hopefully, well, it will provide us some opportunities, but it's always important to keep in mind what news events are and when they happen. Okay, because that might help navigate us in our markets, in our help manage our trades. Okay, so let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and move back to our charts. And as you guys know by now, the chart of choice, at least to start with, is the gold market. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open that up here. Okay, we'll actually change it from crude oil to gold. Okay, so here's the gold market. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we'll use this one. I'll actually use this one here on the right. Okay, we'll expand that out. We'll turn off some of our levels for now and come back to them later in our review. Okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and remove our drawings here. Move drawings. Let's remove. Okay, so let's take a look and start off with the daily chart. I always like starting with the daily chart because again grounds me. Although sometimes I have to admit sometimes I lose sight of what the higher time frame is saying. Okay, and just get a little bit too focused on the lower time frame. Okay, so you can see here that we've had a gap open here. Well, that's obviously gap open higher. Okay, in this market. Okay, so we've been in this bullish pattern, I would say, since September of this year. um, so on a daily chart, given the pattern and the fact that we opened with a gap, that's obviously bullish, right? So I'm looking at here, volume delta is really not aligned necessarily with that move. We have a ADX, the ADX or the positive DI is bouncing off of the negative. So again, another indication that the bulls are very much in control of the market. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move into the 4-hour chart. Okay, so 4-hour chart. Again, we up until recently, we've had our series of lower highs and lower lows. Again, I'm kind of inclined to do something like this. Okay, and really, I'm kind of looking for a close above, let's say 2665. Okay, for me to really embrace embrace the longs here. Okay, so we're at a level where we could expect price to retrace a bit here based on this chart. Okay, based on this chart, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay, now I am seeing in the ADX the positive DI has now passed the negative DI. Okay, the only thing I'm not really super excited by is the waning momentum in that direction. Okay, we do have a positive volume delta indicating that there are still some buyers in this market. The only thing that I'm probably not too keen on is the fact that we have a wick on top here. Okay, indicating that there's still some sellers present. Okay, all right. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We'll look at we'll go ahead and I guess we can leave leave the channel there, okay, in the background. We have a developing bearish candle, okay, probably the result of the news event that we just had here, okay. So let's go ahead and start opening up some of our things that we care about, okay. So here we are bouncing off the top of ADR, okay. Every time we've tried to exceed it, it's been met with some resistance. So we've tested it now once, twice, and now a third time, okay. And now we have some news events that could potentially cause it to to fail, okay, further, okay. So let's open up the ADR. Let's now open up the initial balance. So there's our initial balance range, and then the last thing I want to open up here is our value area range. If I can locate it here, I have another tool that does that for me now. Okay, so there's our value area range. Okay, so you can see that we're well above value. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the channel here for a moment because that's not really providing me all that much new information that I don't already know. Okay, I know that we're top of the channel. Okay, all right. So this is our previous value levels. I'm going to adjust this here a little bit, name wise. So I'm going to call it the PVH. Okay, that's indicating my pre-value. Okay, and then prior POC. Okay, click OK there. All right, so there's our values. You can see that we're well above value here in this market. All right, we're up against ADR that could offer us an opportunity to the short side. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go ahead and add our levels here, guys. Okay, so let's find my levels on my chart, on my spreadsheet, I should say, and add them here to the right. Okay, so here are our levels. We have a supply area at 2,700. We have our average session range, which I haven't added here yet. There it is. Average session range at 2670.60. Okay. Average daily range at 2662. Our value area high is coming in at 2644.90 or 2645. And then our value area low is 2637.10. And then our settlement price is coming in at 2639.30. Okay, so all the levels seem to be intact. Like I said, right now we have this developing bearish candle off of a reference level. This could offer us an opportunity, maybe back to revisit maybe value area high, okay, from yesterday, or maybe as low as settlement price, okay, or even we have this ASR level here as well, okay. So we'll have to see how this current candle closes. Like I said, this is probably a little bit early for me to take a trade. We're about half hour into the session in gold, so we'll just have to be patient and wait for this initial balance range to establish. And once this initial balance range establishes, we can decide on whether it decides to extend initial balance to the downside, which it appears it wants to do at this point, okay, or whether it decides to reverse somewhere around say 2653, okay, and reverse back to the upside, okay, because at the end of the day, we all understand that we are in still a very much a bullish channel on the higher time frame, okay. At this point, I probably would like to draw something in the way of a channel here, okay, something along those kind of lines right? So if I do indeed get a break below this channel, that could be an indication that we will see some further downside, a further downside move in this market. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. If as far as bullish scenarios, I'll probably need to wait until price gets to value area high, which is over here, or down to settlement price, or some ASR levels here, before I would be interested in a bullish trade. Okay, so I need to look below. Right now, the only thing that I would be open to would be a bearish trade if I got the right ingredients. Okay, price could close below this channel, price to close below the initial balance. That might be something that I entertain. Right, so we get a break below. Okay, a retest of the same level that it left, right? And then the move that I would be interested in is this one, like that's the move that I would like to be a part of. Okay, all remaining below the reference level I care about. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at in the gold market right now. Again, still have to wait for some of these certainly initial balance to kind of establish here before I would entertain anything along those lines. Okay. All right. Don't see anything in the way of questions. So before we head into the crude oil market, just want to remind everyone that don't be afraid to hit the likes and subscribes. Very interested in folks in commenting. If you do see these videos in social media, to also comment on them as well. These likes and subscribes are the lifeblood of content providers such as myself. So I'd encourage you guys to support me in that effort. Okay. It would be very much appreciated. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and move into the crude oil market, guys. Okay. So we're looking at the crude oil market. Oh, I forgot. You're right. I didn't do my anchored VWAP. Let's go back and do that. Let's show you which anchor I would be looking at. So I tend to like the opens of sessions, so or some major pivots. Okay, so first thing I'm going to open up is this daily VWAP. Okay, so we can see that the purple line, that price still remains above the purple line. So again, a lot of confluence here, right? We have IB low, we have daily VWAP, and we have the channel bottom, right? Is this area going to be supportive, or is it going to relent and allow price to move further? Now, if we are to believe the higher time frame, then the idea here is that this might be an area where we do get some support. Now, where would I draw my anchor? Well, I like drawing it in areas where we have somewhat of a pivot. Okay, so this here might be an area. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my anchored VWAP. If I can locate it. There it is. So I'm going to pick this point here, which was 10 a.m. yesterday. And you can see that we're well above our anchored VWAP as well. Okay. So that's, again, I like picking pivots. I could have easily picked some pivot down below. That would have worked as well. Okay. So again, price remains above our daily, above our low end of our initial balance low, and above our channel. So there's no reason, okay, price cannot rally from here. Okay. No reason that's not a possibility, right? We could see something like this, right? Bottom of the channel, right? All right. So those are kind of the scenarios that I'm looking at. We have our levels, so I think we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and move off of this. We'll save this and go ahead and open up the crude oil market. Okay. So looking at the crude oil market, okay, again, I'm going to focus in on the higher time frame and get a feel for this. Just want to double check to make sure. Let's make sure our ranges are correct. So the initial balance range in crude oil is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The session for me goes from 9 to 4:30. Okay, that's how the calculations are done here for some of the things that you see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the daily chart. Okay, so daily chart here. Let's see, move to the daily. There it is, daily chart. Okay, we need to ask ourselves the question. Let's go ahead and turn these things off here for a second. We need to ask ourselves a question. Well, what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, the market is trying to accomplish a higher price. Okay, so we had a swing high, right? We were managed to break above 71.50. Okay, and then we had a pullback to that same level and was rejected. Okay, what was resistant becomes support, and now we're in the midst of maybe another potential move, or we could potentially stay in this kind of consolidation range between. Looks like there's some rejection here at 78 and let's say 72. Okay, so there's no reason that we can't, kind of stay in this range here for a bit until the market decides what direction to take the market. Okay. Let's see. All right. So as we get some additional context, we can see here that this 77.50 proved to be at least initially resistant. Okay. So if I'm a bull in this market, well, I need to see price get above 77.60. Okay, in order to really embrace the longs. Okay, right now it seems like it might be intent and kind of hanging out in the range. Okay, we got an inside bar after a relatively strong bullish bar yesterday. All right, so let's move on to the 4-hour chart and examine these candles a little bit further. Okay, so you can see here nothing in the way of really a whole lot of strength here in this move in the move that it's currently making. Okay, you see that there is a buying wick that came in here. So for all intents and purposes, for me, this still feels like it wants to head higher. Okay, my intermediate level would be 76. I'd like to see a break of 76, really, for me to really embrace the long. Okay, if we manage not to be not if we're not able to get above 76, well then yes, we'll probably auction down to 74. Okay, and lower until we find buyers. Okay, all right. So let's move on to the 30-minute chart. We're about 3 minutes away from the open here. So 30-minute chart, this is where I start to add some of my levels, some of the things that I care about. So let's go ahead and start with the ADR. We're kind of in the middle of the range. We're kind of lower end of the middle. Okay, you can see here we've been kind of in this overlapping consolidation range. Really no direction, and that's also evident here in the ADR. Right? Not a whole lot of direction. If anything, we have the negative DI above but not by much, right? So this could easily turn bullish, right? We have the positive DI ready to kind of make that break above. Yeah, so there's basically the positive and the negative version of this, right? So DI plus, DI negative. I use this as the well, it gives me some granularity, right? So if I see the positive, in this case green, exceed the negative, then I feel like there's bulls. The bulls have gotten the control. The big one though is this ADX, right? This is the one that I care about in combination, right? So I'd like to see, for example, let's say that I have maybe a view of bearish, let's say. Okay, well, I did get a break above, right? The DI negative is above. But what I also like to see is that ADX also turn in that same direction, because that's my directional momentum indication. Okay. So if I see this break above, but I don't see momentum follow, that means I have a waning market. There's really no strength behind that move. Okay. I'd like to see the combination, right? Yeah, this is more of a baby blue line, right? Yeah, if it's below the 20, yeah, exactly. It indicates that there's going to be chop. Exactly, David, right? So I'd like to see this line above the 20 and basically move in the same direction, or at least slope in the same direction of whatever price is doing at the time, right? Okay. All right. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 30-minute. Again, right now, I'm not really seeing any sort of, bias one way or the other. Okay. Um, so again, not really got well, I mean, I guess it's keeping me away from a trade in some respects because there's really no momentum in any direction. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add our levels here to this chart. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this and add it here. Okay. All right. So here are our levels. All right. And then I'm going to open up the indicator that I'm developing to kind of support me in establishing these levels. Okay. This is the blue line is the previous value. Okay. You can see that we're well within it. Again, another indication that everybody's, I guess, currently happy with the price. I guess fair value, right? Now, one thing I will say is that we did get a reaction off of value area low, but we didn't go too far. Okay, we didn't go too far. So that leads me to believe that maybe there is some more downside, pressure in this market. Okay, we have some lower lows and lower highs. Okay, we're just gonna maybe spot check a couple of these levels, make sure that they're accurate. So I have, let's see, got 77.25 as my average daily high. We have my low is 74.24. We have our value area, let's see, 76.21 value area high, 74.67 value area low. We got two point of controls here, which we probably don't need. So unless one of them is settlement, which is possible. Let's see, what 75.85. So, yep, that's exactly what it is. Okay. So settlement and point of control for yesterday is basically the same number. Okay. 75.85 is a number where we've gotten the most volume, most interest. Okay. So this is settlement price. Okay. All right. So yeah. So right now, like I said, initial balance just opened. So I'm going to go ahead and place that in. Very tight range. In a sense, that's good if we're looking for a directional move in the market. The tighter this initial balance range, the greater the greater chance and strength that then we might get a move outside of this range in one direction or the other. If I had to pick a direction, right now, I feel like it's going to be lower. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it has to be lower. Okay, I'm going to wait for price to make a committed move in one direction, and then look to participate after that move. Okay, so I let the market participants decide on the direction. Once they decide on I mean, it could easily be the other direction, guys. Okay, there's nothing here that tells me right now, given what I'm seeing on the ADX, that they've picked a direction yet. Okay, so but what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not gonna front load the direction. I'm going to let the market participants tell me the direction, and then I'm going to do my best to participate on any sort of retracement that could happen as a result of that. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the crude oil market, guys. Right now is really not. I think it's really more kind of sit on your hands. You see candles kind of overlapping here, right? You have wicks on both ends. Really, there's no interest here. Okay, If I'm going to look bullish, well, I need to get above 75.45. If I'm looking bearish, I need to get below 74.92. It seems like we're kind of maybe picking up some steam here to head higher, but I'm not in a hurry, right? I need to see initial balance to kind of establish. And then once initial balance is established, then maybe I can go ahead and decide on the direction after they pick a direction. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any questions on crude oil? I think the only thing I have not drawn that everybody likes to see is this anchored VWAP. So again, I'm going to be looking for an area. I like starting with the London session, okay? Because you can see here, London, we had Asia come down, right? And London started and we pivot, okay? So this area right here. So if I'm bullish on this market, then I don't want to see price get below VWAP, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open up VWAP, right? So I don't want price to get below VWAP. So if we do break above this 75.45, which appears it wants to do now, then yes, I could see that we can get a leg, right? The other thing I'm going to draw here, Picasso wouldn't be Picasso unless he had his channel drawing here, right? So this is something that I don't know if I can capture. Yeah, probably something like this. Maybe something along those lines. That's kind of my crude drawing here, right? So if we do a lot of confluence here, right? If we get a break of channel, break above initial balance, then yes, maybe we will see some price moving higher in this market. Okay. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Right. So I've kind of changed my tune here a little bit, but nonetheless, my guidance is always what initial balance provides me. Okay. Initial balance. So if I get a break of initial balance on one direction, let price show me that it can do that. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say about crude oil, guys. I'm happy to entertain any questions you have. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and move on to the equities. Okay, and the equity is of choice for most people, although it's the one that is the craziest, is the Nasdaq. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq here, and again, we're going to go ahead and look at this from a macro view, right? We're going to turn off some of our levels here. We're going to double confirm this. Again, this is kind of an indicator that has helped me establish some of my levels that I care about instead of me manually creating these things for myself every day. Okay. So, at the end of the day, I am a lazy lion, right? So, all right, let's move on. Daily chart. Okay. Looking at the daily chart, we need to ask ourselves a question. Well, what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, the market is trying to accomplish of late higher pricing, but I do see that we're still in this swing that we had earlier. Okay, so could this be just merely a retracement of this, or are we starting to pick up some steam to the upside? Okay, for me, as long as we stay inside this swing, then I would say that the bears could step in at any moment, anywhere in this area. They could step in. If we get above 21, say 21 175, then I would say that I would relent and say, well, maybe the bulls have kind of taken over here. Okay, this swing here is kind of what's guiding the movement here a little bit. I do see that we're getting some higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so that's obviously positive. But if this feels like some sort of triangle consolidation pattern, right? So it's a kind of a candle that really doesn't know, kind of trying to figure out where to go in earnest. Okay. If I look at the ADX indicator here, so I look at this, well, I do see that the positive DI is above the negative. I do see that we're starting to creep into a level here that whatever the current direction is, it seems to have a little bit of weight behind it. Okay, whatever. So if the direction's higher, which it appears to be, okay, Once this ADX indicator gets above 20, then that could give us the how you say, the momentum or the clearance for us to potentially look to that this move is somewhat sustained. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. We'll look at what the 4-hour chart says. Kind of mixed signals here on the 4-hour with respect to ADX. Okay. This on the 4-hour, this feels a bit toppy. Okay. You got a little bit of a double top. It looks like kind of forming here in this market. All right. So again, this 20,500 I would say is probably an important level. Okay. If we can't get above 20,500, then I would say that we're probably, at least based on the 4-hour, it feels like we were heading lower. Okay. Based on the 4-hour. All right. Maybe there's another swing in this range that we're in to the downside. Okay. All right. 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart with the ADX indicator is quite positive. The negative indicator or the negative DI is probably not as strong as it could be. Okay, so it seems like maybe the bears. I would like to see maybe this to kind of pick up, maybe start to reverse. And if I'm bearish in the market, okay, if I'm looking for a short in this market, I'd like to see maybe a reversal here of this line in particular. Okay, this is strong, but this is also telling me that maybe whatever move that is currently happened may have topped out momentum wise. Okay, we're at this 40 number. Okay, so the question is what direction is that? Well, we have the negative indicator going above, so you would have to say that maybe there's some further downside in this market. Okay, in store. All right, so let's widen this out here a little bit more. Let's shorten this down and see if we see anything in the way of delta. Delta is not really giving us any strong indication one way or the other. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add our levels here. So we'll do that. And then we'll start to add some of these price reference levels that we care about. All right. So here's our ADR. Okay. ADR here. All right. So we have average daily range high is well above us. We're actually kind of on the lower third of that range. Okay. You can see here that the ADX is kind of waning here a little. We've already talked about that. The next thing I'm going to add here is our, let's shorten and make these a little bit smaller. Okay. So I can see. All right. We'll open this up. Okay. So right now price is at the lower end of value, right? We're not getting much in the way of reaction away from it at the moment. This feels like it wants to just, move lower. All right. Kind of waiting for that market to open up here, maybe for that possibility. Now, the thing that we need to be careful of now, when we see something and says, okay, well, this can't do anything but move lower. That's when we know that there's a strong possibility that it can take the market the other direction. Okay. So we want to curb that a little bit, right? And say, okay, well, if this doesn't go short, where would it go? Where would it reverse? Well, we have this ADR level here below us that could offer us a nice location here at, say, 20,280, right? This would be a nice spot for reversal in price. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up ASR. ASR is average session range. If I can read my indicators here, there it is. It's hiding. Okay. So similar level. ASR is coming in at a similar level. So yeah, this level seems to be relatively important, at least for bulls. Okay. Let's see. Let's double check some of these levels. Okay. So we have average daily, average session range, which we probably need to adjust. No, looks like it's okay. 20,289, 25. We got 20,000. What was that? Well, 301 is our average. Let's see. Let's turn off ASR. So they're overlapping. It's causing me to not know exactly what to express here. So we got 20,289, 25. That's our daily range. Okay, so we'll modify that to daily range low, and then we're going to go ahead and open up ASR again and see what and that's pretty much the same level. Okay, so both the daily range and the session range are giving me a similar level, low on the low side. Now, this is possibly going to change here with the open of the market. All right, so we're about 15 minutes away from the NASDAQ opening up here. So this average session range could possibly change on us here, okay? So while it's at the same level right now, it could change with the open of the market. All right, so again, right now we're at the low end of value, really not getting any much in the way of reaction away from it. I think certainly a good spot for it to rally from, okay? But that may not necessarily be in the cards. We could get an extension down to this level. I would say that as a buyer, I would probably be more interested down at these ASR or ADR levels, okay? That would be kind of the location that I would like to be a part of, maybe a bullish trade. If I'm more bearish, well, I need to look at maybe the top of value or maybe ADR high for areas for price reverse, previous highs of yesterday. Okay. That would be some nice areas for a reversal. Okay. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchor VWAP at some of these levels. Okay. Let's see if I can locate it here. Anchor VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and add that right here. Right. So that's going to be kind of my line in the sand. Right. If price is unable to manage to get above this, then I'm going to be looking for opportunities to go lower. Okay. Right. That's kind of my line in the sand. Now, if we do get above, I have a lot of arrows here, guys. If we do get price does get above, then yeah, maybe that will be a opportunity for us to maybe take the market long. Okay. So my anchored VWAP is going to be my guide. Right now, I'm thinking short. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing them. So let's go ahead and save this away. Go ahead, save this away. Now, so again, notice, guys, what I'm doing here. On one side, I have the 4-hour chart, right? Because I want to keep I want to keep track of the higher time frame, and this is going to be the chart in which I spent most of my time. But with the corner of my eye, always keeping track of what the higher time frame is trying to accomplish. Okay. Well, what is the higher time frame trying to accomplish? Well, it's trying to accomplish moving lower. Okay. So what should I do in the lower time frame? Well, I should look for opportunities to sell. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the ES. Okay. So ES, we'll look at this. Open this up to the daily, turn off some of our levels here. Okay, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. Okay, and we're gonna look to the daily and see what the daily is trying to say. Okay, and the daily is this is not the most recent, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. Okay. So here we are. Well, the market is trying to head higher, right? We see higher highs and higher lows, right? We have a series of candles here that appear more retracement-ish than actually markets changing direction. Okay. So I would say that this, let's say 58.20 would be an area that I would not want to see necessarily if I was in a position to have price get below. Okay. Certainly not below 57.50. Okay. So 58.20 would be my, I guess 58.20, 58.15 would be my first line in the sand. And then the next level would probably be 57.50, right? I would not want to see price get below that if I'm bullish in this market. All right. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Okay, we have really nothing to speak of since the close. A lot of overlapping candles, really no direction one way or the other. We have a little bit of a selling wick. So it sounds like there might be some interest to the downside in this market. So again, we have this 5,800 level. That's kind of surfacing for me on the 4-hour, right? That was prior resistance that was broken. This could be an area that we come back to revisit at some point, maybe in today's session. I'm not sure. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so 30-minute chart, this is where we start to do a little bit of a deeper analysis around volume, around some statistical levels that we care about. Okay, so here we are. This is I guess a relatively strong indication that maybe we have the positive indicator heading above the negative, and our ADX indicator is saying that there is some strength behind it. Right. So this is, I would say, looking a little bit bullish, right? We have our positive above and the negative falling, and our ADX indicator saying that there's some momentum to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and add our levels here, guys. We're about 10 minutes away from the markets. And I know that a fair number of you do the opening range trade, so we'll try to accommodate. All right, so here we are. Our levels. First thing I'm going to add here to this chart is our ADX levels. We're in the middle of the range at the moment. We're going to go ahead and open up our ASR. Okay, that's also in the middle of the range. So ADR high is coming in at 58.58. Okay, we got 58.45 as our average session range high. We got, notice how 5,800 is surfacing both in the average session range and the average daily range. This is 5,800 not only is a psychological level, right? It's also is a whole number, right? So today is one of those days where we have option expiration, right? So and whole numbers are one of those numbers that they like to expire options. So chances are that those things are going to be challenged here, right? So there's a good chance that we come back to revisit these levels here from an option perspective. Okay. All right. Initial balance is not yet opened. Value is something we could take a look at here next. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my indicator here. And here's value. So price is right smack inside the middle of value. You can see, right, in the blue lines, right? We're smack in the middle of value, right? Indicating that there's really no direction, okay? Or people are actually satisfied where price is, okay? So I'm going to, again, wait for the initial balance range to establish and then let the initial balance range guide me in what direction they want to take the market. Now, this is a news event. We spiked higher, okay, but that was met with some sellers, okay? So maybe we come back to retest the conviction of these sellers because they weren't able to take it any further than that, right? So this could be an opportunity to measure this conviction and potentially cause the market to rally from here, okay? All right. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to call out in this market. Doesn't appear so. One thing that maybe I will draw here is an anchor VWAP. Although I'm a little hesitant because we've been in such a range here. Okay. Let's find my. Okay. We've been kind of rangy of late. Okay. So it's really which side should I pick? Should I pick the bottom? Should I pick the top? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pick the bottom here. Okay. So we have price currently above both the daily and anchor VWAP. So then again, that could speak to higher pricing in this market. An area that I would maybe particularly be focused in on as far as resistance would be, say, 58.40. Okay. This seems like to be an area of resistance, and we have the 58.45 there as well, right? So, but right now we're getting priced, I guess, peaking above both our anchor VWAP and our daily VWAP. So that could lead to pricing to some prices higher. Okay. We were rejected here once, but that doesn't mean that the buyers are not going to come back and challenge whoever that person was. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the market, guys. I would say, given Friday, we want to be a little bit more particular maybe in what opportunities we take, because again, we're kind of in these middle of these ranges. And the middle of the ranges, honestly, are not areas that I find a whole lot of success in. Okay. We want to wait for extremes of levels, and then those levels offer us, areas where we can manage our risk, as well as reactions that we can benefit from. Okay. All right. So I think the one last market I want to review here, and that's the Dow. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save this away, and then I'm going to make a copy of this and create one for the Dow. All right. So we'll go ahead and create YM here. Okay. And take a look and see what the Dow is doing. Okay. If it comes up. Okay. All right. Let's change this to YM. YM. All right. And do the same for the right. YM. All right. And let's see how the Dow is in reference to these other markets that we reviewed. Okay. So, all right, here we are. Again, looking at the daily, I can see that we're actually what's interesting with the Dow is I don't know, on the ES side, we were kind of hovering at well, maybe in the Nasdaq, we were hovering on the low end of value. Okay, the Dow is on the high end of value. This feels far more bullish than what I was seeing on the Nasdaq. Okay. So let's take a look at this on the daily chart. All right. So we'll start with the daily. Take a look at what the daily is doing. We'll turn off this level here for now. Turn off ADR for now, and QS. Okay, ASR. All right. We'll keep this to the side because we'll probably end up using it here some. All right. So what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, we're trying to accomplish higher highs and higher lows, right? We've broken above 2 days ago. We broke up above a new level, and it's held. Okay. We've gotten a rejection away from it. So this feels like it wants to go higher. Okay. That's what it feels like. We have a sloping, everything is sloping to the upside. Okay. For our chart. Similar story. Okay. We broke above, and now we have a developing bullish engulfing candle with about 30 minutes away from closing. So it'll be interesting to see how strong this closes, because I am seeing that we have a little bit of a wick on this volume delta bar. I hope so too, Dan. Okay, so let's see. So again, guys, the idea here is, so I'm seeing that we have a bullish engulfing candle. I see that we have a bullish volume delta. I see that the positive DI kind of peaked above here. But what I don't like is this, right? This ADX is not overly strong here. Okay. It's kind of waning, right? So whatever direction it's in, it's not super strong. Okay. Let's move on to the 30-minute chart. Okay. All right, so 30-minute chart here. Again, we're above our daily VWAP. We have some selling wicks above us, which is always kind of a little bit suspicious when we're looking to go long on a market. Okay. So in any case, we're about a couple minutes away here. So let's open up the value here. Let's see if I can capture some levels for us here. So we'll go ahead and open up ADR. All right. So we'll have, let's see, what's this top level here? ADR 42,995, 42,955. Okay, that's our ADR high. Okay, and then we have here value area high here at 42,756. That's our value area high. Okay, and then our point of control, okay, is coming in at 42,702. That's our POC from yesterday. And see, we're going to go ahead and open up settlement here. That's coming in at 42,746. 42,746 is our settlement price. And let's see, ADR low is coming in at, sorry, ADR low is coming in at 42,550. 42,550. Oops, that's not the interval I want. 42,550. We're about to open here, guys. 42,550 is our ADR low. And then our value area low, which we reversed off of, 42,662. That's our value area low. All right. So those are some of the levels that we're caring about. We just got the open of the market. So I'm going to go ahead and open up initial balance here. Wait for that to calculate here a little bit. So like I said, as I do for most markets, I wait for the market to kind of, open up, get a feel for what it wants to accomplish here, and wait for the initial balance to establish before I take on any trade. So basically going to be sitting on my hands here for the next hour. Probably my focus is going to be on the gold, since that the hour is up, right, for that market. So the initial balance has been established there, and see what the market holds there, and then maybe come back to the equities here. What I do like about this right now is that we have the volume delta is positive, right, to the upside. And the fact is that we are seeing the positive DI, above the -1, and this ADX is starting to maybe potentially curl. Okay, so at the moment I said that, we get our negative delta here. It seems like we have a lot of sell orders coming in. Okay, but that really hasn't translated to the ADX just yet. Okay, all right, guys. So I think that's it for me. Just checking to see if there's any questions. You're welcome, DCAT. Hope you have a great trading day as well, and a great weekend. Okay. Thanks. Kudos to you, Dan, for your comments there. I hope for the same. So again, guys, don't be shy with the likes and the subscribes. If you're not a subscriber now, go ahead and add yourself and alert yourself of that when I do come online. And then obviously the likes and the comments on how this is supporting you and your efforts in analyzing the markets is always good as well. So I'm going to be popping into the coaches room on Top Step. Okay. Likewise, Ziggy. Okay. I'm going to be popping into the coaches channel here for a bit. No group coaching this afternoon. Okay. Looks like a rather strong rally here now. Yeah, no group coaching this afternoon. So we'll again wish everyone a solid weekend. I wish everyone a profitable day today. Again, this is Capital Preservation Friday. Okay, so we don't want to do anything too aggressive on Fridays, right? We want to, don't be shy when we see our setups, right? But we don't want to, give back all the hard-earned money that we earned from the markets, right? In one swoop. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Again, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have a good day, and we'll talk soon.